What is up, my loves? It's been a minute. I'm sorry for ditching you yesterday. Yesterday was a weird day mentally and like with work. It was crazy. But so we are here, and really quickly, guys, I wanted to say thank you so much for all your support. We are officially sold out of t-shirts, which is that's so crazy to say. But I am super excited for today's guest. This guest, I have been a number one fan forever, and he kind of just made his return debut, I guess we can say. So I'm super proud of him. But let's give a warm welcome to Crispy Chris Drasher.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Of course. How are you today?
I am okay. How are you?
That's great. I'm great. So I always hop into who or what got you into wrestling.
Who or what got me into wrestling? I started one of my earliest memories in life was The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I remember probably one of my first memories was the advertisement for it had Limp Bizkit, and I was enamored by it. I loved it, and I kept watching it all throughout my young childhood. Like guys like Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, those kind of guys really made me fall in love with it. And then there's like a little weird timeline where I stopped watching it in my teenage years. And then one day I met this kid and he's like, "Hey, come to a wrestling class," And I was like, "All right, I'll try it. Cool." And we did like 1,000 squats the very first class. I couldn't walk. I had to call off work the next 3 days. It was bad, and I loved it ever since.
No, yeah, I would be dying too if I had to do that many squats.
It's bad. It was bad. I never did a squat day in my life prior to wrestling. It was yikes.
At least now you probably got used to it and you could probably do that. Probably not as many, but like, yeah.
Definitely. Especially with the
So my
army, it's like yeah.
so my dad's in the chat. He's chanting your name.
Hey, what's up, man? How are you? It's good to see you.
So I'm gonna ask because if people don't know, you used to be known as Seymour Green, and now you're known as Crispy Chris Thrasher. How did that happen? What was the change? What occurred?
Um, I left for a little while for the army, and then I came back, and I was like, now would be the perfect time to repackage myself if there's ever a time. Originally, Seymour Green was supposed to be like this very short-lived thing. I originally started for training. They had us be managers, and that was the name they gave me to be a manager. And then I debuted, and I kept it for some reason. And one match turned 10 matches, 50 matches, and I was still Seymour. And then when I came back, my trainer, Clay, retired from wrestling. So it's kind of like a homage thing to my trainer to pay respect because none of them train or wrestle or do anything anymore. So it's just kind of like a homage thing to them. And plus, I just didn't want to do Seymour anymore. It's a lot.
It's okay. We get it. So you kind of just said about it, but who trained you or trains you now?
So currently I'm doing just freelance. Just bounce around from school to school and train. Originally my trainers were Sean McLaughlin. He's no longer really doing anything with wrestling. Aaron, my trainer Aaron, Clay Drasher, and Tommy Floyd. Kind of really got me to start in the business and got me my basics and all that. And John Trosky helped me a lot too with refining my character. So it's definitely a lot of hands in the creation of my journey.
No, definitely. I mean, I think a good school that would be up your alley is the Battlefield.
Battlefield over there at AFA.
Yeah, they have so many great students coming out of the school and like so many great matches and shows. I think it'd be great. I have not seen you wrestle since like you returned, so I think it's fun.
Right now I'm just wrestling for Smash right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Smash.
I know he's always up my behind about coming to shows. I'm like, I will make it to some show at some point. I will be there.
You have to. It's a great show. It'd be awesome to catch up. I haven't seen you in forever.
Yeah, it was like so cool. Like when we look through our memories sometimes on Facebook, and it'll be like, "Oh my god, there was like itty bitty us," and like
Yeah,
we were still
definitely.
fresh. And I was like, "Yeah, it was a
It's
great time."
awesome. The one with the sodas just popped up like what 2, 3 weeks ago. I
Yeah,
saw
I was
that.
like, "Oh my god, that's so coincidental." Like a week
Yeah.
later, we ended up booking. I was like, "That worked perfectly."
Crazy, right?
Honestly, it's crazy how wrestling works.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
so, if how long would you say like it could be from your first training or even now? Like, how long did you train before you got like a legitimate match in front of a crowd?
So I am the product of COVID. So when I started training, it was like a month into training. COVID happened, right? Everything shut down. And I was like secretly trained when we weren't supposed to be training. And I had probably like 5 months of wrestling, of just training. And then I had a few like dark matches, whatever you want to call them, with the COVID thing. And probably about 9 months in, I had my first like actual, excuse me, my first actual live match in front of a crowd.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you've had like your fair share prior to like your first gap of wrestling until now. Like your first time you wrestled like everywhere, kind of like you were mentioning. You were wrestling at like PPW, Pure
Yeah,
Wrestling. It was. I had to see
a
you
lot of
everywhere.
places.
Guys, I will be that fangirl right now and like be put on the spot. But when he wrestled at PPW for the very first time, I was like, "Oh my god, I remember him from Pure Wrestling." I was like crying, and my friends were like, "This girl is she's a true fan. Well, let's give her that."
PPW was crazy. I honestly, if I'm being honest, I think that was like my 16th match, and I was not ready to be on that show at all. Those guys over there at Red School, they're really good guys. You know, they put a lot of work in. And I had no business contending with those guys, and they really took care of me. Great
No, I
guys.
mean, but like that's the cool thing about wrestling. Like you get to have like those opportunities, and like maybe it's not your thing anymore. Like I don't really go to PPW shows anymore because like I stick more to the battlefield. But like it's nice having those options. Like there's wrestling like every weekend. So if one
Absolutely.
place isn't for you, there's the next.
Yeah, it's definitely booming. There's a lot more places now coming back.
Yeah.
There's a lot more places around here than there was. And it's cool to see the local scene grow like that.
No, honestly, and I'm that fan. Like I don't watch TV. I don't watch AEW, WWE. Like not that current like much, but I will be going to every indie show that I can.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's how I am too. It's weird. My like when I study tape, it's nothing new. I haven't watched WB in like 13, 14 years.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah, so if people don't know, I mean, it's kind of obvious, but if people don't know, are you a heel or are you a face?
Whew. That's a good
We both need to
question.
get a correct answer.
That's a good question. I guess it really depends. Right now I'm a heel. I'm very heelish. I've been in a heelish mood.
I don't know. Is there some people I can point it out and be like, yeah, they're definitely a heel or they're definitely a face. I don't see heel in you.
It's
I think it's
really
probably
hard.
yeah, I think it's probably because we like had that relationship and like we've talked a gazillion times, and I just genuinely know that you're a baby face. But if being a heel is what you gotta do, then go for it.
It's weird for me because, like, as you know, like I'm very articulate and like well mannered and polite and stuff. So like being a heel is not natural for me. So it's like I literally have to be like, okay, everything that I think's okay, don't do. It's very weird for me. It's not natural. It's not
No,
natural at all.
definitely. I think me personally too, if I ever got like involved in wrestling, I'm like always smiling and laughing. Healing
Oh yeah.
me isn't good. Like I'll be in the worst serious situation and I would just be laughing. I'll be like, I can't do this.
I can't take it serious. I can't take myself serious.
Exactly. Like whatever's happening is gonna have me laughing already on top of me. I can't take myself serious. So it's not
Yeah,
gonna
no.
work out.
Definitely, definitely.
But my dad's in the chat. He says, "What's up, Chris?" I know we have not like seen you since obviously you returned. It's on our list. We'll get there.
Absolutely. I would love to see you guys. Definitely. Definitely.
Unless you get your behind to a battlefield show.
I could try. I could try. I work 2 jobs right now, so it's just like, balancing life and wrestling. It's
Yeah,
it's a lot. It's a
it's a
lot.
struggle. So like with that,
It's
with you saying that, what would you say is like the hardest part for you about like wrestling, outside life, all into one?
the hardest part, like balancing it, or just like in general. In general,
Sorry.
it's it's definitely the balance. I think that's the hardest part because like as you said, I was everywhere at one point. I was wrestling like 3, 4 times a week, and there was one weekend I wrestled like 7 times on like 3 different feds. It's that balance because if you go too deep into wrestling, your actual life suffers, and if you do too much of actual life, you start getting like anxious and dealing with stress and stuff. So you like have to have that outlet of wrestling. It's definitely the balance of it. You got to be able to work hard and play hard. You know.
No, definitely. Like, and that's what I hear all the time because everyone's up my ass about coming to one of the Smash shows. There was like, Smash is probably one of like the most laid back wrestling places that you will ever be a part of. I was like, okay, I think that's what we need because there's a lot of companies, respectfully, that have like the drama and there's always something. So like walking into a place and not having any drama, it's like, oh, this is different. I like this.
Oh, absolutely. Rasha's gonna kill me for this, but I'll break kayfabe a little here. Even backstage, like the locker room, exactly like the show. It is so laid back. Everyone's helping everybody. Everyone, like when we're going over matches and stuff, everyone's like articulate and very respectful of corrections and everything. It's definitely a great environment, and there's not a lot of locker rooms like that place. There really isn't.
Yeah,
And I think it
definitely.
reflects in the product, you know.
Oh yeah, 100%. So like that was the hardest part for you. What would you say is your favorite part about wrestling?
So every wrestler has anxiety before they hit the stage, right? And anyone who tells you they don't, they're lying to you. Every one of them. And it's like my favorite and easiest part is definitely that like 5 seconds where your music hits and you're like, God, I don't want to do this. I'm gonna embarrass myself. But the second you go through that curtain, it just melts away. You're like a whole different person. And that's definitely like I think that's my best part about it. Because it's just like a switch, just changes everything. It's electrifying. It's awesome.
No, I definitely get it. I know this apply like a lot of wrestlers say like they try to act like there's nothing, like no anxiety, but majority of the time they're out like shitting their pants before they actually
Oh
have
yeah.
their
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anxious, just a little ball of anxiety. It's
yeah.
awful.
And you're all the thoughts are running through your mind like, "Oh my god, what if I mess up?" And I know exactly like how it feels because in the beginning of the year I had my own show that I was like interviewer and like the pressure was on. Like it was in front of the crowd. I'm like, "Oh my god, if I fuck this up, there's no going back. Like everyone's going to see it."
Definitely, definitely. It's
But
frightening,
no, yeah, it's
but
definitely like a mindset thing though because like you're going to beat yourself up about it and then like when you actually if you mess up, nobody's going to notice unless it's like traumatic.
right, right.
So that's a yeah.
You get over
So
it after a while, you know.
honestly, after you'll be like, "Oh, it wasn't that bad," and then yeah.
It's just leading
So
up to it. The hour.
exactly. So like, if the younger fans came up to you and was like, "I want to do exactly what you're doing," what advice would you give them?
uh, hmm. I would say, uh, definitely have a high pain tolerance. Don't be like me and do stupid things and realize you have a high pain tolerance. Definitely know that, you know, your body's gonna get beat up. You're gonna have days where you're like literally dragging yourself to do it. But you know, if you really love it and you really want to pursue it, I think you should. And you know, um, my piece of advice I give to anybody training is to just listen. Just listen. As long as you listen and you're able to be worked with and molded, anybody could do this and thrive and enjoy it and still have a great time and put on a great show.
No, honestly, and even if you're like a 5-year-old fan asking this, obviously you're not going to become a wrestler at 5 years old.
No, no.
From my perspective, and anyone in the wrestling industry, I would say stick as a fan, transition into like podcasting or doing something to get involved at the shows, even if it's helping out, then that will progress. And then at some point, they'll be like, okay, then you can train.
Absolutely.
Obviously, like
Absolutely.
not 5-year-old, but
No, no, I
yeah.
wouldn't recommend a 5-year-old.
I mean, 5-year-old me was like, yeah, we're going to be a wrestler. Now I'm like, nah, they got it.
Right. Yeah. No. Definitely. Definitely.
So if AEW called and WWE called at the same time, and you could only pick one, which one would you pick?
Mm, that's
Obviously,
a
you don't
tough
watch it,
question.
but
I would call Japan and hope they would take me, but if not, I would definitely probably say WWE. I would go WWE route. You know, not
yeah,
there's anything wrong with AEW, and if they called me, hey, I'm always open. But definitely WWE. I think.
yeah. No, until they watch us and be like, "Nah, you pick WWE. You can stick with them."
Tony Khan, I'm sorry. Please help a brother out.
He
Times are
didn't
rough,
mean that,
man. Inflation, please, please.
right? He didn't mean it like that. No.
No, no. All due respect.
So, do you have like a dream venue or a dream place that you want to wrestle in at some point?
Definitely Japan. I would love to wrestle in Japan. I love Japan wrestling, the 80s and 90s, New Japan, Noah, all that, like great stuff. So definitely Japan. But if I had to say something realistically and local, uh, hmm, Sanctuary. I always love wrestling at Sanctuary.
Mhm.
Uh, what's that?
Battlefield.
Battlefield would be a good time. Yeah,
There's
let's go
definitely a
Battlefield.
lot
Definitely
of
Battlefield would
yeah.
be cool.
No, I think there's a lot of like especially now there's a lot of like stars up and coming, and like these are our like our new generation. These are going to be the future of wrestling or indies wrestling, even on like big time. So,
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
yeah. So if you had to pick someone in the like the indie scene to have a match with, who would you choose?
Hmm. If I could have a match with, I would definitely like to have a death match with Akira. I think Akira does some really cool stuff. Um, that I'm into that type of wrestling, but I definitely think I would like to challenge myself in that aspect and wrestle Akira, even if it's just a regular old fashioned wrestling match. I would
Yeah.
definitely love to wrestle Akira.
No, I'll give you that, especially like the death match style stuff. There's like some really competitive people in that. Like Tarzan, I don't know if you know him, but he makes me hurt with his death matches. Like there's like knives involved. I was like, oh my god, what type of wrestling is that? But
He's
hey,
such a nice guy too. It surprised me when he started doing that stuff, and I'm like, that's so crazy, man. Like,
I know. Oh my god, I will not lie. Like I had him on here as the sweetest person ever, but
great
like
guy,
when I
great
opened
guy.
Instagram one day, it was just him and this guy having a death match, and all I see is him cut his arm. I was like, oh nope, we gotta go. No more Instagram for the
It's
day. I'm done.
I could do like one or two death matches. I don't know if I can make a career out of it. Those guys respect
Uh,
because that's a lot. it's
no,
a
especially putting
lot.
yeah, like I'm putting your body through that. Go for it, whatever.
Yeah, you're already hurting your body just through wrestling. You're adding that it's a lot. All due respect to those guys.
But
You know.
yeah, honestly. So for me, I have if I could see you face anyone, there's two people that I have currently. I would say V Marino from the Battlefield, but I
Okay.
don't know. I think your guys, he's like the '80s vibe, so I think that'll kind of be a vibe. And another one that he's like a high flyer in a way. I would say RJ Carnage.
I think that would be awesome.
I think
I
yeah.
definitely.
No, I
I
mean there's
like
like I said,
RJ.
there's so many great names now. Any match would be great.
Absolutely, absolutely. I would love to have a match with RJ. He's a great guy, really
He's a
fantastic guy.
yeah. Kudos to him, but he's a little bitch. He flips me off. He's the meanest person in wrestling now. No, I'm
That's
not kidding. Though.
good.
He did flip me off, and he called me so many names.
That's
So,
good. That's good. He's getting you involved.
he's like he's a baby face, but me and him have the heat. It's okay.
He ain't no baby face. Come on. Come
I mean,
on.
I mean, what he was on here. That's what he said he was.
I don't believe him. Tell
I
him I
don't
said he's
believe.
a liar.
I will. I'll be like, it's gonna be the heel turn. He's gonna come out of nowhere and just be a heel and be like, I called it. Freaking two. I told you. I knew it.
I'll definitely watch out for that. I'll give you a call when it happens. Be like,
They'll
you
be
were
like, oh
right.
my. I was like, I know I was right. Like, did you see this?
You were right.
For real. So, have you wrestled Like I asked you, do you have a dream one? But have you wrestled in a specific place that you were like, I really like this place, and I will wrestle here any opportunity I get?
Definitely Sanctuary. I don't know if you ever been to Sanctuary, one of those shows
Yeah.
yet. It
Hmm.
is magnificent.
It's
Trotsky definitely
different.
has that. No, it is. It is. There's nothing like it. And I say it all the time. I think that's probably the most beautiful venue I've ever seen in wrestling. Just the lights, the church painting on the walls, the glass and all that. It's really beautiful, and I love that place so much. I would wrestle there anytime. I wrestled there 6 times one night. I'll wrestle there 8 more times in the night if I had to. I adore that place.
No, yeah. I mean, it's definitely different than like the other promotions like Smash, PPW, and the Battlefield. But like, it's a good different. Like, you don't get that intense stuff. It's more laid back too.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a great place to wrestle for. I love Sanctuary. I could
Yeah,
not ever say anything bad about that place.
yeah. We got some decent names in there too, like Tommy Vex. He's all right.
I love Tommy. He's so
He's a
weird sometimes.
he's a biatch too. Tommy and RJ are like my biggest heat people in wrestling, in a good way.
Really?
Though. In a good way.
Tommy lives his gimmick. He's weird. I love him. He's so
Yeah,
funny.
yeah. But he's a good person.
No,
I'll give
definitely. Great guy.
he's a decent wrestler. Don't tell him I said that.
I think it was like my second match I ever had was with him. And he took care of me. Like, he's a fantastic guy.
Yeah. But he just has that face like you want to punch him in the face.
It's the stash. I tell him all the time to shave it. Like, you just get rid of it.
Honest. For real. One day I'm hoping Mary just does it and be like, yep, that's it.
Maybe I'll get him in the locker room one day when he's sleeping, just real quick. He'll have to shave it then.
Yeah. And he'll be like, what the hell happened? Be like, I don't know, it just happened.
No, he would kill me.
Yeah, we would never see you ever again.
No, I would go missing. You know why too? It's Tommy did it.
Right? Exactly. So do you have like a certain like warm up or something you do before you come out the curtain other than have that anxiety?
um, I do, I do. So I'll go over my match like 100,000 times, and then maybe like the last 10 minutes prior to going out, I would like to excuse me. I will go outside. I like to be away from people, and I do a weird pacing thing where I pace and I get into character. And it's like, you ever watch Anchorman?
No.
Oh, there's a scene where
I'll,
Will Ferrell's
I'll
sitting
say yeah.
there. There's this, you had to look it up. There's a scene where Will Ferrell's sitting there and he's like randomly saying these weird sentences to get his pronunciation of words right. Same thing. I'll sit there and just start saying like random things to get myself in character and just pace. It's really weird, but every time I do it, it gets me there.
Hey, whatever you gotta do, I support. I mean, we've had like our fair share of people on here. They say they do a warm up, they read, they pray. At one point we had a guy on that said he talks to mirrors. I was like, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, whatever you gotta do to get in character, as long as you're in that when it's time.
Honestly, for real. So you kind of mentioned the like death matches and death style wrestling, but how do you feel about like is it something that you want to do, like the hardcore weapons, or is it more like I'd try to stay away from that?
I'm not against it. I've had hardcore match. I had 2 hardcore matches. One with thumbtacks on my head, and one where we actually did like hardcore wrestling and stuff. Um, so I'm not against it. I just would like it to mean something since I don't do it full time, and
Mm,
it means something to those guys, and it's something I feel should be respected. So when I do it, I would like to do it properly with like a payoff, and like the final match that we have is a death
yeah.
match. But I definitely can't make a career out of that stuff. I'm not built like that. I'm tough. I ain't that tough.
Honestly, I mean, you at the last time I saw you, which was probably like 3 years ago, you were just a tiny twig. At that point, you would break.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. I'm still skinny, but we're getting there.
Yeah, day by day.
Day by day. Exactly,
So
exactly.
on the other side, how do you feel about like the intergender wrestling, male versus female?
Um, no, I think it's just like regular wrestling. I don't see anything wrong with it. When I was trained, I'm very polite and chivalrous when it comes to females. so I would always like hold back, and Dina Steele taught me to just
Smack the
go,
shit out of you.
yeah, just
Just
wrestle. She's like, I'm gonna hit you back. I'm like, all right, I can take it. And then she hit me back. I'm like, oh, okay,
that
we're
shit
gonna lay it in
hurt.
now. Yeah, we're gonna start hitting back now. So I think it's cool. I definitely think it's cool, and I enjoy it. I like it.
No, yeah, I think it has its place. I think, but like, if it depends on the circumstance. Like, if it's a Dina Steele versus like, I don't know, some big ass tall guy, that's not gonna make sense. You know what I mean?
No,
It
definitely
has to like vibe. Like you and let's say Christina Marie, respectfully, she'll kick the shit out of you, but it's okay.
not.
But
Probably.
there's some great females now. There wasn't like I could say that there's never been that many like female wrestlers, and now it's becoming more of a current thing. So it's really cool.
It is cool. It's very cool, especially the local area. I've seen a very big increase of just females wrestling regularly here, and I think it's cool. They're getting a fan base and establishing themselves here, and it's awesome. I like to watch everyone grow.
No,
We're all in this
definitely.
together.
Exactly. So overall, if you could choose any dream match, it could be anyone alive or dead. Who would it be?
Any dream match, alive or dead, huh? Hmm. It would have to be Mitsuharu Misawa or Dynamite Kid.
Okay. See,
Yeah, definitely one of those two. I don't know about Dynamite Kid. He might beat me up though, because I'm not. But it'd be cool. Fun time, learning experience.
yeah. It's even if you get beat up, it's okay.
I don't know. He would kill me backstage. I've heard horror stories about that guy.
Okay. Well then, just do what you gotta do and stay safe.
I'll just run after the match. As soon as he beats me, I'm just gonna dip out.
Be like, never seen again.
Basically, yeah.
So, do you think for you personally, it's gonna be like a mindset thing, an injury thing, or just a point in life that you're like, okay, well, I'm done wrestling?
um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever stop wrestling, if I'm being honest. And I think in some capacity, I'll always be involved with wrestling. Um, I definitely would like to open up a school. I'm not there yet. This is a couple years down the road. But I definitely think I would probably open up a school and just slowly transition from full time to part time to once in a while to retired and just training people. Because I definitely enjoy watching people grow. That's what
No,
wrestling's all about.
no, yeah, definitely. That was gonna be my next question. Even if you retired, would you still be involved in some way? But kind of answer
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
I
I
don't
definitely wouldn't.
Yeah, wrestling's a different type of love. Like you can't just be like, okay, we're over and never see it again.
No, it's definitely a love-hate relationship, but you always come back. You always come back.
No, that's how I am. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so tired of this. I can't do this anymore. And then like a day later, I'll be like, oh, I no, never. I love this.
Yeah, you can't get away from it. You never could.
Even no matter how hard you try, you'll find your way back to it.
Absolutely, absolutely, definitely.
So if people wanted to see you, what are some upcoming shows you'll be at?
Right now, just Smash for the rest of the year. I'm taking some time to just kind of get stuff together and figure things out. But coming up this next year, I'll be wrestling a lot of places, especially New Jersey and all Pennsylvania. So definitely look out for me next year. We're gonna be doing some cool stuff. Check me out on Facebook, Instagram. I think I have a Twitter. I haven't used that thing ever. And you'll see some upcoming stuff.
And if they wanted to find you on social media, where can they find you at?
Oh, yeah, probably a good idea to plug my stuff, wouldn't it?
Maybe.
You can catch me on Facebook at Crispy Chris Drasher. Or I have to use my shoot name then. Christopher Winder, you'll find me. But yeah, I'm on Facebook. If you find me, you'll find me on Facebook.
Yeah, or another easy way, guys, is I linked his stuff down below. So just click it and you'll find everything you need for this guy. But I'll
You are
definitely
such a
say
great host.
thank you. I'll definitely always say I will always be a fan of this guy. I always remember sitting at the true wrestling shows. We would just be like trying to start chants, and the crowd was not feeling it. It was me, you, and my dad. We were just like, "You guys are party poopers. Y'all just don't do nothing."
No, they're a weird crowd. They're a weird crowd. You gotta really like push them.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know?
I mean, now, but like since it's more of a popular thing, more people are in it, and like the crowd are different. They're
No, they
definitely
are.
different depending on where you're at. Like I could say the PPW crowd compared to like the Battlefield crowd or like the true wrestling crowd at that point. It was some were competitive and some were just like, I'm just here just to be here.
No, definitely. I like the streamers. People start doing streamers now for some reason locally. I love that. I wish we had more of that. Please bring streamers.
All right, good idea. So whenever I get to the Smash show, I'll just be like, there you go. There's your streamer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Please.
We'll do. I'll make sure not to hit you because I know a lot of times I get hit like with them. But if I hit you, it's fine.
Please don't upgrade character.
It's cool. But thank you so much for coming on. It was fun. And guys, I will be back Friday with Supra. I don't know even how to say his name. I'll have to ask him later. It was like Supra Nitro or something, but make sure you're tuning into that one because it'll be fun. It's always fun when you're dealing with me. But you all have a great night. Bye.